You have 68 wins. You cannot 69 Nina.
Hey everyone, it is the center of attention, Brittany Brooks, and you are watching Simply Reliable Studios.
Come on over, Sam. I'm being see, earlier I said something stupid to him, and now this is my receipt. Okay.
Sabu's just sabotaging you.
Yeah. He sure did.
Hijacking.
Yeah, he's taking over.
Hijacking is a better word. You're right.
Good luck.
Shout out to Simply Reliable Studios making their Symphony debut, sponsoring this match and the entire Dragon Kai demonstration.
Heyo, this is Jack Cartwheel. You are watching Simply Reliable Studios.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Noah. I believe in Datula.
The Meltzer of the multiverse. Who the fuck wants to compare themselves to another? How much of a mark do you have to be? You couldn't even pick a professional athlete. You went with a fucking journalist? Grow up, man.
We just want to say thank you to Simply Reliable Studios for voting us as Tag Team of the Year.
Of course.
Because you know what they say, right? If you can't swim,
You're bound to drown.
Tonight, she is sponsored by Simply Reliable Studios from Orlando, Florida. She is everybody's favorite BFF, Izzy Marino.
Get it? Got it.
Happy 250th anniversary to the greatest nation on earth, that is the United States of America, and happy 4th of July to all of you on this fine Independence Day as we bring to you this exclusive retro watch-along coverage for NXT GAB. Welcome in to the Great American Bash, and welcome back once again to the Super Reliable Studios. Hello once again, all of you, and welcome back in. You know what this is, for I am the Simple Man of the Simple brand, the voice SRS, for we're grateful for all things professional wrestling. Damn it. And my name is Noel Foster. So thank you all for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, comment, and tell a friend. If you want to dictate the conversation, super chat, pay up passions. It's as simple as that. And remain hashtags for the free as we engage those that may have actually been tuning in for the first time to this special brought to us by NXT. With that being said, I'm never alone. Let's go ahead and introduce the commentary trio, as it seems. First and foremost, he is the patriarch that represents this brand, Idiot He Trusts, Chase U alumni, the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams, and it wouldn't be reliable coverage without bringing reliable one to all of you himself, Mr. Reliable, Walter Cruz. Gentlemen, happy 4th of July to both of you. How are we feeling today on this fine Saturday? JJ, I will start with you.
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. Trying to find some stuff to keep busy today. You know, it's our nation's birthday, the 250th birthday of our great country. You know, there's problems in it, just like there is every family, every job situation. Nothing is perfect, but damn it. America turns 250 this year. I turn 50 in another month and some change. Like, I may be old, but damn it, America's got 200 years on me. So, but I'm looking forward to NXT, man. As everybody knows, like, I don't stay up on the current week-to-week product. I've kind of taken the Noah Foster approach to clips, highlights, spaces, whatever, to get my sources. I know a little bit of what happened. Bless you, Walter. I know a little bit about what happened because obviously as a man who hosts a panel show where we discuss wrestling every week, I had to make a graphic for all the shit we were going to talk about today. And something that happens on this show plays into the graphic that I made. So again, I know a little bit about what happened, but I don't know the results of every match. So there's some things I'll be surprised by and some things that I know, but I'm curious of how we got to the result that we got because I didn't see the match. So, you know, but to tell you the time by telling you how to make a watch. I'm doing great. I'm looking forward to the show. And I see that Walter here is wearing some Simply Reliable Studios merchandise.
Buy the shirt.
So,
Cheap
so why don't we give him a solo shot real quick? He can show off the gear. Brilliant. That looks so good, dude. Like, for real. That came out clean.
And again, if you want to find out more what merchandise we bring forward, follow us today at SR Studios 2024 on the X. And Walter, it is good to see you, my friend. With that being said, thank you, JJ. Walter, good afternoon to you. How are you on this 4th of July Saturday, and how you feeling about NXT GAB?
I'm doing well. Looking forward to it. Kind of sucks that I can't watch NXT live because of CW. And then sometimes it's like it's not worth the effort of going to watch something the next day. I don't know. It's just something about watching live that's different. So it kind of sucks that I have no access to CW. But I know the results of one match, but I'll be okay.
All right. Well, for those that want to join along with us, you actually can go to the official CW and WXT YouTube channel. They have uploaded the show in full. However, if you do not have premium, you will be dealing with commercials. Our feeds, as far as mine and JJ goes, are commercial free. So with that being said, gentlemen, if you are ready to go, JJ, this is your brand. Why don't you count us in? And let's get right into it.
Sounds good, Noah. Hitting play here in 3, 2, 1. And my opening shot is Tony D'Angelo with the championship.
Yep, as of course, Tony D represents NXT at GLB as the reigning and defending and fighting NXT champion, but comes in here with a deficit as you see the heavy bandage eye after Naruku shot him with a fireball and has played psychological warfare since arriving on NXT. Looking to bring this brand to complete and utter darkness. Will everything be evil tonight, or will Tony D once again come to light? As we kick things off with the NXT Championship match.
I was going to say, that's kind of evil of Naruku to shoot a fireball. How dare he?
What a way to kick off this year's edition of the Great American Bash out of the way. That has been a staple in the WWE ecosystem that NXT has kind of taken forward on their own in its own form. And of course, Tony D came into his own form, Walter, finally standing and delivering for the brand that he has represented since day one, and not only his NXT career, but his wrestling career.
Yeah, I'm a little bit shocked with the order that they started with the NXT title.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, and again, knowing the end result, you've got to have a moment like we're going to have in the main event close the show out. I mean, this is the Great American Bash, damn it. So
I know, but when you got Saquon Shugars on a thing, you start with the title.
Well, but you bookend the show with the two main championships. It makes sense. We see it happen on some of the main roster PLEs from time to time as well. You know, it's just the women have defined my NXT pretty much since Braun Breaker was champion. Like, I would say from the start of Roxanne's second reign to now, the women have defined NXT. So it only makes sense for the main event to be the women's title. The women have the most depth on NXT. The women are more prominently featured. The men's division is struggling.
Hell yeah.
And that's why I think Takahashi, that's why I think Santana, that's why I think all these people that WWE may start bringing into their ecosystem are going to be on NXT because they're struggling in their main event division.
As you see, one of the newest comers, to your point, not the big guy from London that people think looks like everyone's father, or Grado, but Naruku, formerly known as Evil, IWGP World Heavyweight, Never Overweight, IWGP Tag Team Champion, now christening the identity of Naruku, still just as evil, and has immediately set his sights on the NXT title. Shout out, by the way, to Wade Barrett and Big Joseph here on commentary. And again, as London and America come together, here we literally have a stand of epics here, as we got California, we got Latinos, and we got Italians and Americans here across this commentary team. So again, folks, thank you for tuning in as we begin our coverage of NXT Great American Bash, as we go down to Mike Rome for the introductions of our opening contest. Hey, kudos to them actually letting them do the one fall again.
One fall.
For those that don't know, Naruku is 39 years of age, has been involved in this game for 15 years, trained by the likes of Hiroyoshi Tensen, and of course, Ryusuke Taguchi, the king of darkness, brought in, of course, by Los Ganabes de Japón, Tetsuya Naito. Tony D'Angelo, as I said, made in America, made in NXT, 4 years involved in this game, the dawn of NXT, 31 years of age, and has been the NXT champion for over 85 days. This, of course, will mark his fourth defense after outlasting all Ego and Page, Cam Hendricks, and Bravo Americano.
And the only member from his class to still be on NXT. You go back to that photograph from years ago, Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, Braun Breaker, Grayson Waller, all up on the main roster now. Tony D, the only man who still survives in NXT.
Whoa, geez,
huge spear.
What the hell?
God damn.
They broke the stage right off the rip.
Well, I knew Tony D was pissed, considering he's a one-eyed man in an ass-kicking contest. He just drove Naruku through that damn partition.
That was evil.
Now, call it whatever you want. I call it effective. Start out of the gates hot one, don't you? Fireworks ablaze, and we're just getting started. Tony D, by the way, is the 37th NXT champion in NXT history after, of course, winning this title at Stand Deliver at the expense of Joe Hendry, Ethan Page, and Ricky Saints. And now Tony D immediately on the attack. I mean, when you literally have a man try to blind you, that's got to make you feel a little bit irate. I'm just saying, but still.
And who was the inaugural NXT champion, Noah?
That would be going all the way back to one architect, Seth freaking Rollins, as the NXT title follows a legacy set and defined by the likes of Adrian Neville, of course, the man that gravity forgot, the glorious Bobby Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura, Finn Balor, Trick Williams, Ilya Dragunov, Carmelo Hayes, Braun Breaker, Adam Cole, baby, Samoa Joe, just to name a few.
I couldn't remember if it was Seth or if it was Big E. I knew that they were like 1 and 2, but I couldn't remember who the inaugural was.
Yeah, Big E was the second one after the Shield, of course, was running roughshod in the Genesis, what was the black and gold band. And right now, a massive bear being applied right in the eyes, though, immediately going after the affected wound. And Naruku creating separation and looking to once again take advantage. Yeah, referee checking on Tony D on the outside here. The emotions mind got the better of the champion here, and the challenger looking to capitalize. Referee checking on him. Of course, champion can't defend himself. The referee's discretion could call for a forfeit.
It looked like he was about to.
The referee even just said, I'm going to stop the match right now, and Tony D grabbed him.
Well, we know how much pride that Tony D has when it comes to the NXT title, let alone his own freaking merit as a defending champion and a fighting champion. Not looking to be taken advantage of. This is clothesline. Doesn't even send Naruku up and over the top rope, though. Now hooking ahead. Nice German suplex. Naruku again going to the outside.
Well, yeah, he was supposed to get clotheslined over, but Tony D just didn't have the strength to send him over. So Naruku, being the seasoned vet that he is, rolls to the outside there.
Still to come, our main event tonight for the NXT Women's Championship. Everything is evil. Against the apron. As Lola Vice defends the gold against number one contender Kendal Gregg, who beat Clyde Jordan for this opportunity. Also tonight, Shiloh and Tristan Angels fight over the Mr. NXT namesake. Naruku going to cover. Lateral press is enough. Gets a 2 counts.
Naruku's in better shape here in NXT than he was in New Japan.
Have to be for WWE.
Yeah, about to say, it's a brand new opportunity here for Naruku, so he has to have a fresh beginning.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and try to speak bad about New Japan or any promotion, but when you're comfortable in a company like Evil was in New Japan, you can kind of start to rest on your laurels.
Oh!
Getting this new opportunity, to Noah's point, you've got to get in better physical shape.
But there's a certain level of discipline that defines anybody here in this wrestling business. But the mental and the physical elements of the WWE, especially, is what truly makes or breaks anybody in this industry. And Naruku is seeing that and doing that for the first time ever. And in less than 2 months, finds himself already challenging for the NXT Championship, looking to do what the likes of All Eagle Ethan Page did when he decided to make NXT his stage. Oh, man, big exploder in the corner. Naruku in the cover, now hooking the far leg at 2 counts. You were saying, Walter.
That's pretty fast, but again, what does that say about the men's division that he gets the title shot that fast and surpasses so many people? To JJ's point earlier, that's the lack of depth in that roster.
They're just struggling because they called so many people up here recently between, Carmelo Hayes going, Trick, Javon, Ethan Page, Ricky Saints. Like, they just called up a good chunk of their division. You almost had nobody but Tony D to put the belt on.
Darkness falls, kicks out at 2.5.
You had nobody else but Tony D to put the belt on, and then you released a bunch of your male talent, Andre Chase, Tyreek, Malik, Whether they were going to be world title contenders or not is irrelevant, but you released a bunch of your male talent, so you need to fill those voids.
Well, right now,
Naruku and Mason Rook, just right place, right time to fill those voids.
Well, Mason Rook is still a big old who are you, but Naruku has developed quite an identity here so far in NXT, driving Tony D into the barricade and nearly pinning him with Darkness Falls. Now going for a high-risk move out of the corner here. And again, this is a business where you got to either make your opportunity or take the opportunity that's presented to you. Naruku didn't want to wait. He forced it into play. And Tony D was the one that literally said yes against Riverstone's Witches. Running power bomb!
By the way, what do you think of that name change, Noah?
Well, it still goes back to the roots of this character that literally has defined this gentleman his entire professional wrestling career since he was involved, of course, in New Japan Pro Wrestling. As I said, brought in the Los Iguanabas de Japón under the tutelage of one Tetsuya Naito, the former Takashi Watanabe, previously known as Evil, still Dark Ways, now known as Naruku, which still channels an evil namesake in its own meaning. And right now, Naruku in control here, and Tony D going up to his feet. You were saying, JJ.
And he still gets to use evil because he's broken that into his catchphrase, saying, I am evil.
Well, he used to say everything is evil, and if Tony D doesn't find a way to literally defeat evil, then NXT will be evil. Get to the midsection now, Naruku on the move, and Tony D takes him down. Tony D looking to mount a comeback here. Irish whipping again. Tony D still visually impaired. Follows up with a lariat. Running Bulldog, center of the ring. Swing and miss, and hoist it up. German suplex release.
That was a huge German suplex.
Jesus, and another one. You think about what Shinsuke Nakamura was able to do in NXT as a transplant. Could Naruku end up finding that same success?
Up into the power slam. Cover to retain the title. Kick out to.
That's one thing WWE should do. The people you aren't using in the main roster like that, send them back down to NXT as those veterans that the young people could look up. Send Nakamura back down to NXT. It's not degrading. It's not a demotion. You're there for veterans, and now you get more TV time.
You're also there to literally refresh yourself, as somehow Tony D has once again refreshed himself here off that suplex. Hoisted up, planted Naruku. One arm choke bomb. Kick out of that. No, it's not. Wow,
that is it. Tony D does it.
Sudden impact, just like that. That one arm choke bomb, and Tony D retains the NXT Championship.
I mean, you think about it. What better way to test if people are ready for the main roster than to fight people that have been there for years and know, not the simple things, how to get the audience to react, to look at the hard camera, the things that are on main TV, test them out and fight them. So, and they're not being used in the main roster. You might as well put them down there.
It makes a lot of sense there. It makes a lot of sense there, Walter, to your point. But then you end up with some growing resentment of, this person is now coming down here to take the TV time that we're already struggling to get.
About to say, take your spot, call your shot. And Naruku caught his shot and lost. That one-arm choke bomb, the same way Tony D won the title at Stand and Deliver, leads to the retainment tonight at the Great American Bash. Tony D, the only Grand Slam NXT champion, by the way, still holds down this house as the NXT champion. And, of course, still more titles to come, including the NXT Women's North American Championship. Let's take a look at our current champion in Zaria as she looks towards the very person that she took the title from, Tatum Paxley. Tatum Paxley and Zaria definitely are two cuts of a different mold that you would not expect necessarily to be in the spots where they are. Tatum Paxley rising to prominence, of course, former NXT Women's Champion on Halloween of all evenings, channeling truly a TNA great Daphne, and of course become a namesake favorite here in NXT. While Zaria, she was always the Janetti to the Shawn Michaels that was Saruka, and after she sent her to hell in that last woman standing match, Zaria has finally carved her own wasteland in the NXT Women's North American Championship.
I'm just glad Zaria's finally getting this chance.
I think part of Zaria's downfall, if you will, is also her greatest asset in the fact that she's so reminiscent of Mommy Rhea Ripley.
And to that point,
it's what got her signed, but you also don't want two characters that are virtually identical on your TV every week. So while Mommy was always on top, Zaria was kind of the losing end of the stick. Now that Mommy looks like she's going to be gone for a minute, Zaria's been getting this monster push.
Yeah, well, that push has had a few roadblocks in the name of Tatum Paxley, who has played distraction and mental warfare against Zaria, including costing her recently a women's tag match against the NXT Women's Champion. These two have been at odds ends with each other, and we've seen how dangerous, Walter, Tatum Paxley can be when she doesn't choose to play with somebody. She chooses to inflict pain.
Yeah, she can be spooky, but JJ, Mommy's always on top. Does that mean Zaria's always on the bottom?
Well, we might find out up next. Because coming up next, the NXT Women's North American Champions on the line as Zaria looks to lead Tatum Paxley in the wasteland once and for all behind her, and Tatum Paxley looks to send Zaria back where she came from with a cemetery driver. Time for the NXT Women's North American Championship match.
I was waiting for some kind of goofy pun like that from you, Walter.
It wouldn't be a commentary day with Walter on the call without a pun coming into play. And speaking of coming to play, Tatum Paxley now comes to play.
I'm expecting a bunch of them today because I wasn't expecting Walter for this call. But I knew I was going to be doing GCW Bash at the Ballpark, which begins 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific here across the Simply Reliable Studios, brands and channels, live, not via tape delay. But I knew I was going to have him for that. And I've already got 9-1 dialed on my phone in case I have to dial the third one for an ambulance because La Chola Vipers is taking on the Megasis Megan Babe. Walter's about to have a heart attack.
Well, let's see if Tatum Paxley gives Zaria a heart attack as we get ready now for our next match here at the Great American Bash. And, of course, Tatum Paxley, young, petite, 29 years old, 4 years involved in this game, defined in WWE, previously held that NXT Women's North American Championship at the expense of one Izzy Dame after literally burying the calling. But now Zaria comes forward, and she might literally Tatum Paxley to waste.
What's going on, Matt? Thanks for popping in and joining us on this delayed watch along.
Tatum looks like one of those schoolgirls in anime. Why is she dressed like that?
That's literally what she is. She's an anime schoolgirl character, and I can't think of what anime it is. Meanwhile, Zaria, for the first time since I've seen her at WWE, looks like the Australian badass Delta that I knew she once was in her previous life. To JJ's point, the first time we're seeing her decked with a championship in NXT, and the first time that she's defending it after surprising people at NXT Revenge, seizing the NXT Women's North American Championship. The first of the second of 5 championship matches tonight, might I add. We got the Speed and the NXT North American and the NXT Women's Championship that will be our main event.
Can I ask you a favor, Noah? I'm not going to get on you for doing it now, but when we get to that match, can we at least put a little bit of respect on the Speed Championship, considering who's holding it? Wren Sinclair deserves some championship gold, and I don't care if it's a freaking whatever you call it, sticker championship or whatever. God damn it, can we put some respect on that belt while we do that match for Wren? Just for Wren.
Magic 8 Ball says, ask again later.
Man, this title looked good on Zaria.
Dan Paxley previously held this title for 94 days.
What does Zaria have?
In her 6th defense.
What did Zaria have? 3 opportunities before she actually won it?
Correct.
Something like that.
Including a number 1 contenders match against Soruka. That Soruka won, and that was regarding the NXT Women's Championship. And of course, that's when Zaria finally snapped. And Tim Paxley bringing the title down. And both women right. Oh, man! The headbutt immediately, the head games and the mind games are on, and so is this match.
Tatum gave Zaria some head.
About to say, there's no control in Tatum Paxley when she's unleashed and unhinged. Get to the hamstring, and of course, this is what Zaria needs. This is what Tatum needs to do. Stick and move. Nice drop kick. Takes Zaria up and over. And Paxley unorthodox. Oh! Stun got across the top rope, and what? God, a discount lariat by Zaria.
That was gut first across that top rope. And don't forget, those are not like bouncy. Those are steel cables.
And
that could easily break a rib, damage an intestine, or something.
Again, to that point, though, does this play now in favor? Oh, man, big side kick and a German suplex, and Zaria in full force control right now. Just looking down at Tatum Paxley after that brief little attack. About to say, if Zaria wants to carve her own path here in NXT, you got to keep that momentum. Just release overhead Falcon Arrow throw to Tatum Paxley at this point. And Zaria hammering her way with the challenger. Tatum Paxley, of course, was able to outlast the Glamour, Blake Monroe, Alba Fire, and one of the other new arrivals here, Lizzie Rain, of course, from Progress Wrestling. Shoulder blocks in the corner now by Zaria. Of course, championship matches. Talking just hands. We have pinfall or submission inside the ring. Now, Tatum. Oh! Nice double stomp there, catching Zaria out of the corner. And whether or not that early storm was enough to give Tatum Paxley just a bit of an idea of how she can beat Zaria here tonight. Zaria again, power coming in, trying to take back control. Tatum able to escape, swinging a miss, and right now the much more faster. Oh, pop-up, headbutt.
Now this time Zaria gives Tatum some head.
I don't think Tatum even knows where she's at right now. Good grief. I haven't seen Zaria this confident, though, since literally sending Soruka on a different landscape. Now just literally hoisting up Tatum Paxley on the apron. Back elbows, though, trying to force the break. And, oh, pulls out the foot from underneath her, brings her between the apron and the tarp, and having her away. Big thrust kick, and Zaria trapped. Smart strategy here right now by Tatum Paxley. You got to give Tatum Paxley credit.
Great step up in Seguri there by Tatum. Sorry to cut you off, Noah.
No, that's perfectly fine from the former cheerleader / bodybuilder, believe it or not, folks. And Tatum Paxley, an orthodox opposite style, playing dividends here. Sidestep. Oh, my. Up and over into the NXT universe.
And she was smart enough to break up the count by rolling in and out.
Well, again, we talked about before how Tatum Paxley's NBA IQ is
sleeper
a unique enigma. And right now, Renegade choke applied, backpack on the back of Zaria. Zaria carrying Tatum, and oh, man. That's one way to break it.
And to think about that stun gun, like you mentioned earlier, Noah, to the ribs of Tatum on the top rope, having all of Zaria's weight just fall back on her right there could have done some serious internal damage.
165 pounds, to your point, just dropping down on the torso of Paxley with nothing between her but Zaria's body and those thin mats. Protection of the building as these two women continue to fight on here. Paxley right now trying to combat another stubborn Zaguri, and that seems to be her bread maker here. Is in the whole Achilles heel against the champion. Now on the move. Sidestep, though. Up and over. And Zaria catching Paxley up in the fireman's carry. Might be looking for that F5. Wait a minute. What is she? Oh!
Again, the gut across the top in the turnbuckle.
Almost
clearly.
like she's focused on that.
Yeah, clearly Zaria has found a target, and she is continuing to exploit it. Now literally stretching Paxley like a horseshoe across that top turnbuckle, driving her foot. But now the rising knees of Paxley capturing the head of Zaria. And now both of these women trying to find their footing. Precarious situation here. I sense disaster. Oh, man!
Question is, will it be a beautiful disaster?
Craziness climbing the top rope. Ooh.
Call whatever you want to call it effective. Face first in the top of the ring post goes Zaria. Now Paxley up to the high risk district. Looking down. High cross body across the champion.
Showing no signs of injury, but how much damage must that have done to her after all the torso work that Zaria's done?
Well, think about all the pain and torment that Paxley has suffered here, mentally and physically here in NXT. You think about Izzy Dane. You think about the fallout with Lyra Valkyria. You think about her pursuits against herself. Rebound German suplex. But Paxley knows who she is, and we've seen that come out of her more than ever this year, to the point she's been able to channel all that to her benefit. Zaria, though, trying to stop Tatum on the move, and another big fresh kick by the challenger. And, of course, you can stay tuned for continued watch-along coverage here for many other events underneath the WWE, including Sunday night's main event. That'll be Sunday, September 6th from Atlanta, Georgia here. And you can stay tuned for all the coverages across all PLE specials and pay-per-views across all things wrestling here at the Civilized Studios.
We've also seen what adrenaline does, so maybe she won't feel it till after the match.
Nice float over by Tatum. If she had been able to go for the pin, she looks like she's possessed.
Pinpoint presented by Paxley. The left-hand spear, short range by Zaria, cutting the challenger in half. Good grief. To your point, take a look at the replay here. Beautiful superplex takeover. Somehow rolls over on her feet. And Zaria, on instinct alone, follows through of her range with a short spear and both these women down in this very heated contest. NXT Women's North American Champion on the line. Zaria, the 9th champion in this title's legacy, going all the way back to the inaugural one in Kalani, Jordan. Following, of course, Stephanie Valkyrie, Zoruka, Blake Monroe, Thea Hale, Izzy Dame, Henry, and of course, the previous champion, Tatum Paxley. Get to the midsection again. Big right hand by Zaria, though, trying to exploit the biggest vulnerability she's created. Back kick, though, by Tatum Paxley. And Zaria, for those that don't know, came to us from the Australian wrestling scene. Delta. Big knee strike, though, catching Tatum underneath the jaw. Every time Tatum tries to go in fast, Zaria only needs to take one shot to put the match back in her favor. The Irish women, the turnbuckles, and Zaria right now with the deadlift, almost a hanging chokehold here. And Zaria again being fought back as Paxley, who purchased herself in the second rope in another very cautious situation. I would implore for both Zaria and Tatum Paxley here. And Tatum and trying to hook up. Was she trying to hook up Zaria for the cemetery driver from that position? And Zaria now
Tree of Woe, yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. What the hell does this mean?
Zaria got some freaking core strength is what it means.
Good grief. I've very rarely seen people able to get themselves out of the Tree of Woe like that underneath their own power, and look at the rage in Zaria's eyes. And not the surprise, but the frustration on Paxley. Now both these women on the apron, meeting in the middle, exchanging forearms here. Something's got to give. Some straight up Donnybrook here right now. Oh, pump kick. Now Zaria hoisting up Tatum up in the fireman's carry. Oh, no, not from there. Not from there. On the outside, sunset flip powerbomb takeover.
Damn.
Great counter reversal there by Tatum, being able to slide down Zaria's back and execute that power bomb.
What the hell?
The
Who's
problem
playing
is
the blues on the harmonica?
my nephew.
As you see, Tam Paxley seizing what she once coveted most, the NXT Women's North American title, might be on the doorstep of regaining it here tonight. Zaria now immediately seeing Tatum holding on to her championship. Whoa! Almost got us on the squad by swinging a miss. Oh, rolling counter kick! And once again, looking for the center driver! Paxley now bringing Zaria back inside the ring, knowing that she can't win the title out there. Might be looking for it again. Hooking up Zaria. Center driver connects, and the cover. Match from no!
I don't think I've seen somebody kick out of that.
What the fuck?
I don't think I've seen somebody kick out of the cemetery driver.
I believe you're correct. I believe Tam Paxley just witnessed someone kick out of her finisher for the first time ever. Not to mention she did back to back. And Tam Paxley immediately looks unhinged right now, just throwing fists at Zaria. Once again, maybe third time's the charm. Cemetery. Nope, Zaria able to counter. Up the fireman's carry. Goes Tatum, though. Now changes the chair position. Victory roll. Sits in the cover. Take out the title. And Zaria able to escape. And on the move, spear! And immediately Zaria's not done. Going back on the attack. Fireman's carry. F5 connects. And Zaria with the cover has win. No!
Yo.
Expression on Zaria's face. She could not believe it.
I can't believe it right now. Tatum, Paxley, and Zaria have thrown everything, including the kitchen sink at each other. And they both still kicked out.
Why doesn't Zaria call that the Z5?
I don't know. That's WWE Creative. They're not smart enough to figure it out. And now again, Zaria, then the disbelief, mounting Tatum, just heeing off with these forearms. Paxley could knock out Tam Paxley here. Just a relentless assault against the back of the head and neck. And now,
Curb stomp. The real version of the curb stomp, not that Seth Rollins bullshit.
Up in the fireman's carry again. Fuck!
She ain't kicking out this time.
Cover two, and Zaria says Tam Paxley to the wasteland.
Yeah, but look what it took.
Damn.
Fantastic match between these two.
Zaria literally surviving Tatum Paxley's Armageddon and still holding on to the NXT Women's North American Championship. A very tough play date offered by Tatum Paxley in Zaria's first, and I do mean first, and I don't think will be her last trophy in this first run holding the NXT Women's North American title. What a match indeed. Let's take a look at some of the highlights here. That takeover into the powerbomb from the apron to the floor, and not one, but two cemetery drivers rolling and folding Zaria up for the nearest fall in this match. Then Zaria came back with a vicious F5 that nobody's kicked out of, and Tatum Paxley did just that. Tip for tap, move for move, receipt for receipt. Widow's Peak curb stomp, though, finally might have knocked him out, but for extra insurance, another emphatic F5, and Zaria retains the title and puts Tam away once for all.
The women really do run NXT because that was better than the NXT title match.
Outstanding showing once again as Zaria truly reminds us exactly why she stands tall as the NXT Women's North American Champion. But nothing to be taken away from Tam Paxley, who once again gave everything and then some tonight. We go backstage with Kendal Gray and Wren Sinclair, who are obviously trying to hype each other up and talk strategy, as both women here are involved in critical matches tonight.
Kurt Angle, Great American Bash kind of gear by Kendal.
I could definitely channel the stars there. Good grief.
So young in her career with a great opportunity tonight.
Yeah, of course, Wren Sinclair saying you will beat Lola and prove about exactly what I already know. Of course, these two have defined each other since Kendal Gray was called into the future by John Cena, and of course was last year's Iron Survivor winner with Shades of Grey. Will we see Shades of Grey come forward? We'll find out in our main event, but coming up next, Shiloh Hill and Tristan Angels fight proverbially over the title, Mr. NXT, when we return to the Great American Bash. As we go backstage with the Vanity Project, and who the hell is that freaking behemoth? And Robert Stone.
How is this the same company? Look at the women's division at NXT and then how they do the main
That's
roster.
a woman?
Like, what the fuck? No,
What
I'm
the
saying,
fuck?
I said, look at the NXT's women roster and then look what they do on the main roster. How is it the same company?
Because
And yes, that is a woman. I believe her name is Bailey Humphreys. She was on LFG for a while.
holy crap, she has got gigantic.
Oh, I
She
don't got
replaced the
premium.
real deal Zeta Steel when Zeta left.
So they took out the puppet circumstance and just put in power and maybe performance. Got it. Galeno and Kiko Delawanda Jr., as it looks like Robert Stone might be negotiating a tag match here. Interesting.
Okay, now I just got what you guys got. I had the commercial, yeah.
Nikita Lyons there with her Evolve Championship. Shout out to Nikita.
Yeah, of course, there's a tailgate, I guess, outside, and this is
Kevin Owens.
You know.
It's so funny.
Kevin Owens, though. I will say that.
It's so funny because she definitely does not fit swipe right because they're like these. She's the total opposite of it.
She is like, you swipe right that bit. What the hell?
You know what, Walter? TVMA. Does Greta fit the look of Tiffany Nieves and her partner?
Nope.
Okay. She's the heater.
Fair enough.
That's her whole role there with TV, with the Vandy Project. She's the heater.
That's a lot of heat to bring, especially during this summer heat wave. I'm just saying. And of course, you can stay tuned when we may cover on demand or live NXT Heat Wave later, of course, next month here, amongst so much more upcoming coverage and content here at the Sip Studios. I also want to just, as we got a moment now to literally breathe, I will say this. Zaria and Paxley, that was a fucking very good match. I was very impressed.
Like we said at the outset, the women have been dominating this NXT
I get that.
since the beginning of Roxanne's second reign. Maybe a little bit before that, but when Roxanne turned heel and got that second title reign, that's when the battle lines were really drawn, and you could see that the women were above the men.
I'll give you that. Like I said, if there's anything I can still say about the letters NXT, they seem to know the best way to handle in WWE women in wrestling. The main rosters, figure the shit out. That being said, again, stay tuned, folks. Like JJ talked about, so much more upcoming coverage here. We got GCW Watch on today and tomorrow, as well as the weekly Marvel Conversation Wrestling Matches and Shy Shenanigans, where, of course, we'll look back at this week in wrestling, considering everything that happened since Sunday, including but not limited to AEW Forbidden Door, of course, the NXT Great American Bash, Wednesday Night Dynamite, and other developing stories and outlooks on professional wrestling business to your own insight. Have to go back in for what's going to be the most bizarre match of the night, in my opinion, as we have Shiloh Hill defending a proverbial sash against the freaking other dude from the UK. That thumbnail is so much more. Oh, yeah, see that Slammiversary. That thumbnail is so much more, folks.
To your point, Noah, all this stuff has transpired since we went off the airwaves last week with Saturday Shenanigans.
That's right.
So we're going to be discussing a good chunk of this. And look at how female-dominated this graphic is. That just goes to show that professional wrestling in 2026 belongs to the women. And you notice who's kind of there in the center, Noah?
Yeah, Demon X Money, who won the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships, which I'm very happy for.
Perfectly placed just for you. Allie pretty much right there in the center with her dark bunny makeup.
Okay, I see what you did there. Very, very nice. Anyway, this is not going to be very nice.
Very
it's going to be
evil?
very annoying. Well, you know, the hindsight's 2020, but again, I dig crazy chicks, and she has maybe a screw loose. And Tristan Angels might have
or 2 or 5.
You know, I'm not counting Canadian or American, but I'm also not judging. Meanwhile, here comes Mr. England, who's been judging everything here at this NXT, including Shiloh Hill, who calls himself Mr. NXT, until Tristan Angels stole his strap in what was determined by, I kid you not, folks, a fan-based locker room vote on an episode of NXT television. Yeah, that's a thing.
You should like Shiloh Hill. Wasn't he an IT nerd before he wrestled?
And IT nerd, that's an insult to IT, but I think you're right, proverbially. Okay.
I'm telling you, I want to see Tristan Angels and Mr. Elegance as a tag team. I know it would drive Noah crazy. I know he would want to reach through the computer screen and choke me, but you cannot tell me that Tristan Angels and his gimmick would not fit in perfectly with the Elegance brand.
Sure would.
Like it or hate it, Noah, and I know how much you loathe the Elegance brand, you cannot tell me it wouldn't fit.
There's a reason
From
you
a
don't
neutral, unbiased perspective, tell me it wouldn't fit.
There's a reason you don't split a square block in a round hole. And that is exactly what this match is. And I'm
Shoulder
just going to leave
tackle
that
there
alone.
by Shiloh Hill. Drop down, leapfrog.
I feel like I just take a bathroom break here and let JJ and Walter call this on their own. Maybe their own Danhausen.
I don't
nice show of agility there by Tristan Angel. Again, ducking the clothesline. Flying shoulder block there by Shiloh Hill, who I got to say, when I first saw Shiloh there with the bandana and everything, I was like, dude, when did Chavo Guerrero come back?
Right. I don't think there'll be a building that can handle the ego of those two together, by the way, if what you were suggesting.
Fireman's carry position. Shiloh Hill doing an airplane spin here. Into almost a drop TKO there from Shiloh Hill. Noah's like, fuck this shit, I'm out.
He said he was going to take a bathroom break.
He's still there. I bet you money Noah's still there. Shit, he actually went ahead and pulled his shit. So we'll change the view there. Nice chop to the back there by Tristan Angels. Double stomp to the sternum there of Shiloh Hill. Tristan Angels now with a headlock. Shiloh Hill trying to fight out of it. Irish whip. Shiloh off the ropes, ducks the boot from Tristan Angels, slides to the outside, and under the ring goes Shiloh Hill.
Smart. Mind games.
Tristan's like, where'd he go? And now Tristan getting drug underneath. Almost like a scene from a horror movie.
Why
the
the
lights are out. What the hell?
Oh, that's cool. You've never seen Under the Ring like that. That's kind of cool.
An alarm clock is ringing. Oh, no, it's a telephone. Excuse me.
Why would you answer the phone in the middle of a fight?
The fog is coming. And now Shiloh with a choke, a sleeper from behind on Tristan Angels. Tristan Angels with a handful of cable there, cracking Shiloh in the head. And Tristan comes out the other side by the announce table. To your point, though, Walter, that was completely different. And now Shiloh from behind.
Kind of confirms that they say that when people hide in the ring, there's a monitor that they look at to know when to come out. Kind of confirms there's a camera down there.
Leg drop from Shiloh Hill onto the ring apron. Flying clothesline from Shiloh drops Tristan Angels.
Yeah, look at WWE doing something different. That was cool.
It was. And, like, I get it's not Noah's thing. I get he's not into this match. But, like, it was different at least. Whether you like it or you don't like it, it was different. Tristan Angels trying to get back into things. Face of Shiloh Hill to the ring apron. Sends him inside. Now Tristan Angels pulling the ring stairs. Out to center of the ring there on the entrance side.
I'm afraid of what's in his mind right now.
Suplex attempt countered. Shiloh lands on his feet. Shoulders to the midsection of Tristan Angels. Shiloh coming back in. Stun gun. And now Shiloh Hill sent gut first into the bottom rope there. which, I get it's Great American Bash and it's the little
Mm.
things, but I love the red, white, and blue ropes being here for this show.
Hell yeah.
Again, we know this is a delayed watch along, folks. We know this happened last Sunday while Slammiversary was on, while Forbidden Door was on. But what better day to do the delayed watch along of the Great American Bash than on our nation's birthday, the 4th of July? Nice spear from Shiloh Hill off the steps to Tristan Angels. Now Shiloh climbing to the top rope here. Code breaker. Tristan Angels catches Shiloh as he comes off the top, hook of the leg, gets 2. Shiloh Hill kicks out.
Still, I mean, I thought this was going to be like a quick, boring match. It's pretty much a good match so far.
Yeah. I mean, again, whether you like the characters or you don't, they're definitely putting their all into it. You can make the argument that this could have been on an episode of TV instead of on the PLE.
Mm-hmm.
Shiloh Hill gets the 3 count there, puts Tristan Angels away, but you can make that argument about any match on any pay-per-view PLE. How many matches at Forbidden Door did we say could have been on Dynamite?
Yep.
So it is what it is, and that's all it's going to be.
I kind of
As
want
we
to
go
know
back
more
to the
about that
closing
referee.
moments of that Simon, there you see the code breaker as Shiloh came off the top rope again. Almost got a 3 count for Tristan Angels, but unable to. And then kind of like a neck breaker, power bomb type combination there from Shiloh Hill off the top rope, able to put the adversary Tristan Angels away. As we go to the ringside area for a quick interview with Shiloh Hill. Tonight's a perfect example of why no one sleeps on Shiloh Hill.
Why my brother walk in and look at the key to keep looking at the TV, look behind me?
Oh, I seen him in there at the same time I saw your private message. We go backstage here to Natty. We've got Fakita Lyons, Carmen Petrovich. To the point you were making earlier about sending these vets down that aren't getting TV time, we got Natty here.
Mm-hmm.
Natty comes down to NXT quite frequently. I don't want soft women in my business.
Mm. No, the 3rd championship match is about to happen.
Another backstage segment. Where are you at, Noah? Walter needs to step away for a second, bruv.
More than a second. I hope his stomach's okay. I remember last time that happened.
Go ahead and step away for a second, man. I got this. Noah will be back in a moment.
Okay.
I'm sure of it. Coming up next, we're going to have the Women's Speed Championship on the line as Wren Sinclair defends the title against the Birthrights, Arianna Grace.
Okay. What did I miss? Anything? Probably not. Oh, wait. Why is this not vasectomy? Oh, okay. Anyway, I guess it's time for the speed title. All right, here we go. Blah. Shout out to Walter and JJ for calling what probably was something unique. This, of course, though, is one
It
of the
actually wasn't a horrible match. I mean, they did something different going underneath the ring. You know, they had a little segment of the match under there. Whether you like the characters or you don't like the characters, and it was made clear by the way you left that you don't like them, at least they tried something different, and Walter and I enjoyed it. But here comes something else we enjoy, Noah. Maddie Renkowski, Wren Sinclair, the WWE Women's Speed Champion, wearing a pride-colored inspired outfit, apparently coming out on social media as part of the LGBTQ community after this match, you know, showing off her outfit a little bit better. Congratulations on Wren for taking that big leap and coming out.
I mean, again, you need to stand on your own. You need to truly be what you are meant to be, in your opinion, or how you feel you need to be. You need to live life your way, but you also need to live life the right way. And I will say this regarding what this is. Wren Sinclair has been doing things the right way here in NXT. Arianna Grace has been doing anything but. Bell reigns were underway again, folks. Believe it or not, this match, you're going to come as an auctioneer probably, and JD's is going to take it in because this match is a 5-minute time limit. If it goes to the draw, it's like, oh, retained, both women collide immediately. And literally, these matches are contested underneath 5 minutes. It was a tournament that led Arianna Grace cover. It's a 1 count here to become the number 1 contender for this. And the side headlock here as Wren Sinclair is the 4th Speed champion. She's been Speed champion now for 109 days, but believe it or not, this is our first defense. Nice leap there by Wren Sinclair. Discipline out of the Texas area by one Lamar on the Rosa. Good shoulder blocks. We are already nearly 30 seconds in, jumping forward with a nice bulldog cover. Hook at the far leg. It's a 2 count. And of course, beat Fallon Henry for this title with the Wren lock in under 3.5 minutes. Back, of course, at Booker T Appreciation Night on NXT. Booker T also has been very instrumental in the growth of one Wren Sinclair. Of course, always came into here with her own technique and really found her way as part of the quarter catch crew. Nice fisherman swinging net breaker covered by Arianna Grace. Gets a 2 count there as we are already 1 minute into this match. Next time I have to call one of these, someone just might as well put a freaking GIF in the top left-hand corner of a damn clock.
You know, Wren Sinclair's got to be careful with the birthright there at ringside. You know, Charlie Dempsey, who she definitely has history with, the NQCC. You've got Uriah Connors. You've got Lexis Keene out there. She's got to be careful, but she also can't get distracted by it, too. She has to stay focused on her game plan.
Fence lock, and Arianna capitalizing, driving Wren back first in the apron. Wren Sinclair also, of course, recovering from a recent leg injury after the fallout with Kalani Jordan, trying to stick it to both Wren and Kendal Gray before, of course, tonight. And
which is, of course, the reason why this is her first title defense.
Yeah, again, when you're legitimately injured, though, for a period of 3 months, you need to question whether or not you should be holding on to a championship, 40 figures. I'm just saying, especially if you're going to contest a championship as something official in your company, despite the fact every match is only 5 minutes or less.
Well, I think that's the great thing about the Speed Championship, though, Noah, is that once a champion is crowned, another tournament immediately happens to determine a contender. So you can kind of milk some of those days by doing the tournament to cover up for any injury.
Yeah, it just gives an excuse to have 5 minutes of fame, in my opinion. But nonetheless, I kind of can understand what you mean. As Arianna Grace was able to, of course, make her way forward to this opportunity, beating Layla Diggs and Izzy Dame in the Speed Championship. Now working over the left leg of Wren Sinclair, the hammerlock, the lateral press, the hook of the near leg, and gets a 2 count. And of course, Arianna Grace has to be aware that the clock will move faster the longer this goes and will be less in her favor. We've seen how close these matches.
To your point there, Noah.
We've seen how close these matches have gone to the couple I've had to call. Inside cradle for Wren Sinclair. It's a 2 count for the retainment. Almost go to nearly the time limit. And we are right now in a caution zone as we are under the 2-minute mark. Schoolgirl will up again. Big elbow clocked. Wren, though. And of course, qualification, it means nothing for Arianna Grace. And Wren creates separation, going up to the second rope. High kick, though, by Arianna Grace, former Mrs. NXT, as, of course, she once christened herself. And right now, spreading the legs of Wren. What is she looking for here? The front face lock, maybe trying to wear her down. But again, you can only use so much of that time to wear down each other when the clock is not in your favor. Again, champion's advantage here. Time with a chance to be a pinfall submission inside the ring before the time limit. Face first goes Arianna Grace as we approach 1 minute and 15 seconds. High cross body. And yes, JJ, I did see the salute. And right now, Wren Sinclair, once again, looking to mount forward here. Open palm strike. And we are just a little bit over 60 seconds left in this women's speed championship match. Men's speed championship, even more irrelevant. Around the waist of the Burflight, that's his king as the Burflight looks to hold the speed division. We are under the minute mark after that German suplex here. And Wren Sinclair is feeling it.
Charlie Dempsey getting up on the apron.
And the last time he got involved in Wren's face, Wren sucked the taste out of his mouth, and rightfully so. I'm just saying. There you go. Get yourself some, girl. Payback is a bitch. Now, wait a minute. Triple leg cover. Two. Oh, my God. Nearly stole it. Almost won the title there. The flash big open anywhere. Look for a big high bicycle. High kick denied. Swing and a miss. Big hit. Connected though by Wren. And now hoisting up Arianna. Less than 30 seconds left. Up and around. Airplane spin. Face first. Taken down. And hooking in the Wren lock. We got the lats. 15 seconds left. Wrench in once again. Arianna taps out. That's it. That's it. Time. 4 minutes and freaking 48 seconds. Wren Sinclair retains the Women's Speed Championship.
I'm sorry. I can never call it the Wren lock. That's cattle mutilation. God damn it.
I understand that, but it's Wren Sinclair doing that. But Bryan Danielson be proud of the positioning as she wrenches Arianna Grace like a horseshoe, and rightfully so. And Wren Sinclair still holds on to this proverbial title and gets a little bit more payback on Charlie Dempsey. So everyone wins at the end of the day. Again, JJ, that takedown, though, didn't help Arianna Grace's neck conditioning. Face first, and immediately all the pressure on the shoulders and head and neck, wrenching forward. There was nothing Arianna could do but tap out. Congratulations to Wren Sinclair, and will that be a thing of signs to come for NXT's women's division with Wren QC both holding gold in NXT. Still to come, our main event tonight, Lola Vice versus Kendal Gray for those that did not see thumbnail or hashtag spoiler free. Oh, okay, now I could be back to normal. Ay, freaking hell. If I was ever be an auctioneer, that'd be the definition of a freaking entry exam. And speaking of bringing that to light, now we look towards the dark side, or should I say the dark state, as of course the fallout with dark state members, Saquon Shugars, who was excommunicated by the group after they lost their chance to regain the NXT Tag Team Championships against the Vanity Project. The fact of the matter, though, JJ, that this group of absolutely irrelevant renegades have literally crossed the line and have been running roughshod here as a foursome across both NXT and TNA. It's quite surprising to see how things have developed this year, especially since Dion Lennox has kind of taken the forefront of it, even though the group says they're all equals. As Dion Lennox got the chance, of course, to become an Iron Survivor, has shown out more character, has chances for singles gold, and of course, as we just saw, recently had a chance for tag team gold, and they finally took out what they believe was the weakest link, and now we're down to 3 men. You see that Tayvion even exemplifies that. Basically, Dion saying that I'm not the bad guy, you're the bad guy. Almost one of those things like a state of denial. And Dion saying that he was the one that built Dark State from the ground up. Almost like a systems complex with Eddie Edwards.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, it makes perfect sense. Who did we know existed in the NXT infrastructure first? Dion Lennox. He was the guy, kind of goofy looking, backstage nerdy, random segments, almost like an observer taking notes on the status of the NXT locker room so that he could execute the darkness that became Dark State. Dion Lennox being the architect of this to steal a gimmick from Seth Rollins makes perfect sense.
And I guess Saquon Shugars wants to put away his past once for all. Dark State comes to light in this heated rivalry as Saquon Shugars takes on Dion Lennox next at NXT's Great American Bash. Will Saquon remove himself from his past once for all, or will Dion remove the cancer and the mistake of his past once and for all? It all comes ahead next in NXT's Great American Bash. Oh boy. And of course, we've seen Saquon get involved in Dark State's business, as you see by that Titantron, since its excommunication, costing them championship opportunities, including Dion Lennox's chance at the NXT's North American Championship. That pack mentality of literally removing the runt of the litter by any means necessary might as well be the freaking statement of Dion Lennox when it comes to what he means in Dark State's dominant mission statement of showing no weakness. And honestly, Dion Lennox is a victim of his own sins. Let's just call it what it is. Not only was he the one that literally pulled the trigger after they lost the NXT Tag Team Championship match, he kept on rubbing it in his face while he wasn't even there, or so he thought. As we always saw Shugars in the distance, in the foreground, hearing everything and seeing everything happen the entire time. The first time actually seeing this guy with his own entrance and identity. Huh.
I actually kind of like the beat here.
Well, I mean, he's literally rolling to his own beat now.
You know, for something that's more than likely Def Rebel, let's be honest.
Accurate.
It's got a decent little vibe to it. I'm not saying it's a great theme. It's not going to be, you know, top 10 Def Rebel themes of all time, but it's not the worst they've done either. You know, it's a good little middle of the pack. You could, to steal a phrase from the kids, you could call it mid, maybe a little better than mid.
I mean, it's a black dude with a beat with bass. I'm just saying, generic bass. But nonetheless, it seems to work with his vibe versus a white guy with a generic guitar that you could play a better theme Guitar Hero. But that's a whole different conversation for another night.
It's the snare that really catches me. The cymbals there, that like
good accompaniment. Now Dion Lennox looking to take the head once and for all of Saquon Shugars, as of course Saquon has cost everybody in Dark State except Dion. Oh, jeez.
Huge right. Drops Saquon Shugars right out the gate. Now Shugars giving receipts to Dion Lennox, the leader of Dark State.
Well, again, when you literally have rolled along with this guy for so long and have had so many opportunities, including, of course, the NXT Tag Team Championships, that goes back to that familiarity and the hostility that you hold against a person that you feel betrayed you. It's just a matter of who feels more betrayed. Was Dion Lennox more disappointed, or was Saquon more betrayed here? Who really is the villain in this? In Dion's mind, it's obviously Saquon. In Saquon, it's clearly Dion. But again, we're looking at two bad guys of NXT in what's become a civil war.
Everyone always thinks that they're doing the right thing. That's the great thing about a hero and villain dynamic. You know, I come back to it all the time. Anakin Skywalker became Darth Vader because he wanted to save his pregnant wife from dying during childbirth. You know, he was trying to do a noble thing. He just went about it the wrong way.
Yeah, well, nobility could also be full of vanity, and I think that's Dion Lennox's worst decisions right now, coming back to bite him in the ass tonight at Great American Bash. Dion Lennox, by the way, folks, is a former two-time NXT Tag Team Champion, and it was alongside Chris Griffin. Of course, Saquon Shugars and Chris Griffin also shared a run as the NXT Tag Team Champions. For Dark State, it was always about a matter of equals. It was almost like Freebird in the titles at the time, as two different pairs of them were holding the gold. Dion Lennox, of course, never really held the gold at all. But of course, as I said, previous challenger to the North American Championship, not once, but twice, I think, as well as previous, of course, participant in the Iron Survivor Challenge. And Shugars right now being pushed off the ropes. That's just a name that just doesn't ring off the tongue easily. Whoa, math! Overhead back body drop. The Saquon Shugars right now.
You can even hear Vic Joseph stumbling over saying it.
I mean, you can't even put that on a damn freaking piece of paper and make it look like a normal name legitimately. Big backbreaker over the leg. But again, for those that don't know about Saquon Shugars, formerly known as Lucky Ali, he actually does have quite a bit of wrestling experience. 8 years, as a matter of fact. And the
Shout out to the over 100 of you guys that are tuned in watching us now.
What the hell? What are you all doing on your Saturday besides eating hot dogs and fireworks? But okay, thank you all so much. You continue to make it possible. Again, you are the reason that the watch-alongs and the passion that we demonstrate on them, unscripted, continues forward to be perpetuated and progress across all the biggest shows, special pieces of favorites across all things wrestling. Nice net breaker there by Shugs. I'm just going to say Shugs because that's just easier right now. The cover hook on the far leg gets a 2 count.
Double S.
About to say, that ain't great, but also that's accurate. And right now, just booting the side ahead of Dion, and Dion right now looks a little bit perturbed.
But yeah, Saquon Shugars is trying to embarrass Lennox for the way that Lennox has embarrassed him. Just nonchalant boots to the face there.
Yeah, both these men. Oh, man, that was a vicious neckbreaker on the back of the head. Almost
Could
giving
easily give him a stinger there. You can see the way Lennox is holding his head. And here comes the rest of Dark State from the back.
Well, you knew that they had to get involved here at some point. Again, it's a game mentality. It's a freaking, multi-person pact. And that's always been the strength of Dark State. Every damn match. And this got up against the top rope, back of the head and neck first as Dion takes advantage. Dion, by the way, has only been involved in NXT. Oof!
Huge Uranagi there from Lennox. From
2
the
years,
outside.
And just throwing himself across Shug's back here. Now goes in the cover, hook on the far leg to embarrass this man. Gets a 2 count again.
See, the problem with saying Shug is every time I think of Shug, I think about Suge Knight from Death Row Records. And that's not a good comparison.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. So we'll go with the double S. We continue here at Great American Bash and double S.
I mean, if we can have double J, if you can have double R, why can't we have double S? I'm just saying.
There's better double S's out there that I could think of right now, and some of them aren't even people. That being said, boot pickup, though, by him, and roll up Schoolboy deep on Dion. Gets a kick out. Again, inside
shout out to the
Cradle
USS
cover.
Intrepid, which Lex Luger landed on this day in history to body slam Yokozuna.
Exactly. And right now it's just a strength here as Double S trying to tie up the arms of Dion Lennox. Dion, by the way, comes to us from a football background out of the new program. Roll up, shoulders down. Able to push him off, though, and Dion popping.
Spine buster.
Cover 2. Then that's not it. Damn.
Very Arn Anderson-esque spine buster. Good height there on the jump from Shugars. Let's look
Double
at this
A
again.
approved. Double A approved.
Boom.
Planted. Good Lord. He might as well have planted back to the Independence with that. Sheesh. To your point.
Shugars got some good height on the jump. Dion able to grab him, get the spin accurate, firm plant, and now has him tied up here like a pretzel.
Yeah, Dion
What
Lennox,
kind of
by the
dipping
way.
sauce you want there, Noah?
I'm not a big dip or sauce person, for being honest with you, unless it's the Chick-fil-A Polynesian. But right now, I think the only thing that Double S wants is relief out of this hold. As you saw, again, the rage of Dion, though, I think he torqued that so much Double S was able to turn his body around, relieve some of the pressure without going to the ropes. But again, still 5 underneath, pushes Dion up and over to the outside. Dion Lennox, who also has challenged for the NXT Championship this year against Joe Hendry. And again, Dion Lennox, for what it's worth, he's had the most opportunities as part of this Dark States group.
Well, of course, because he was the leader.
Wow.
So, of course, he had the opportunities.
Nice
Nice
drop kick.
cartwheel into a drop kick there by Saquon Shugars. Wonder if Jack Cartwheel coached him with that cartwheel.
About to say, I wanted you to also notice on the outside, JJ, Chris Griffin, his arm is in a harness after that steel pipe assault by Double S prior to this, as Double S has literally pretty much hit and targeted each member of Dark State except Dion Lennox. We were
Did
talking
they
about
ditch
this
the
on Stephen
Osiris name? Because I know he used to be Osiris Griffin.
Yeah, I figured it is Cyrus the Griffin, and then the other dude, which I can't remember the name of for my life, I believe is Cutter James. That's it. It's Cutter James.
Yeah.
I
You
had
just
to figure
kept
it out.
saying Chris Griffin. I'm like, did they drop the Osiris gimmick?
Oh! No, Osiris. It just looks like Chris because it's small text on my freaking laptop. My bad.
Got you. Okay.
Backbreaker, face first. Great combination by Double S. The cover hook on the far leg. Notice they have a kinesio tape running down the back of Double S, by the way. Still feeling the effects after being excommunicated by Dark State with that triple power bomb through that announce table. He always was the wild card of the group. He was like that scrappy little animal that you didn't necessarily know what to do with, but you didn't choose to tame it as long as it's working in your favor. And we saw many times Double S was instrumental in Dark State matches, particularly versus other members.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, Adrenaline running through Double S right now as he drags Dion out of the corner after that kick caught him. Lateral press, hook of the leg, close to the rope. Smart move, but gets a 2 count again. And again, very dangerous territory, but Dark State still on the outside. Lunging over with the slingshot leg drop cover on Dion and gets a 2 count again. I gotta admit, I'm impressed right now. This is the most organized I've seen this unorthodox member of this group actually wrestle. He's wrestling a very smart match. Against its arch nemesis, nonetheless. And again, though, Double S needs to stay focused on the one man he came to defeat tonight to remove himself from his past. Bring it up to the top rope.
Took too much time gaining his balance once he sprung up there. Great agility, but took too much time to gain his composure, and Dion Lennox capitalized.
Now, Dion on the ascent, though, but Double S still fighting back. Again, dangerous territory to be up in the corner here, trying to find his footing. And Dion, though, hooking up Double S. And, oh, my! Belly to back drop across the top turnbuckle.
Right on that Kinesio tape, too. You can see it damn near falling off of him.
Yeah, immediately Dion on the attack now, bringing it back. Double S inside the ring. Oh, shot! Cover into the cover off the press and gets a 2 count off that ridiculous snap. Tilt-a-whirl body slam. Take a look at the replay here again and watch the way that he lands and bounces off that top turnbuckle to the floor. And this insane takeover power maneuver by Dion for the near fall. That was almost like a standing full flip power slam. And again, though, Double S still fighting back. Oof. And both these men literally fueled by their own rage here. Went for the Instagram again, able to duck underneath, Dion on the move. What? God, turn inside with a lariat. Decapitating him. And again, another short range. Inside leg hook. Kick out at 2 by Double S again, who somehow wills himself back up to his feet, showing his defiance and resilience. Swinging for the fences, though. He doesn't even know where he is right now, JJ. Like, seriously. Wolf. Sidestep. Big boot. Another kick. Takes Dion down, though. It's almost like that innate instinct's just taking over, realizing where he is and what this means to him tonight. And Dion right now may not even know what the hell to make of this, what the hell just hit him. How many times has he seen Dion kick in the head? Once again, though, back in the corner, and Evelyn throwing himself into his opponent. Now hoisting up Lennox, and what the hell is this? Oh, no way, no way. Whoa, 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 and Dion almost like just falls out of it. Once again, though, Double S up to the top rope. And just drops
like
down
into
a
frog splash.
And gets the win!
So here comes the rest of Dark State.
Well, we knew this win was going to come with a price for either man here tonight. And I felt like that the price was going to be paid more heavily by Shugs here. And Osiris and Cutler just took off their knee pad and their freaking sling. I don't think Dark State's injured at all, JJ. Oh, boy. Now hoisted up, and oh, my gosh. Let's see with a pop-up turnaround power bomb. It's one of those things right now where the definition of looking at anything like a winner after the fact is what Double S is tonight. And swinging for the fences in the midsection with that baseball bat and over the back. And again, Dark State runs rampant, this time at the expense of one of their own former running mates. How hollow a victory must feel right now, JJ, for this man.
Oh, absolutely. Won the battle, but he did not win the war.
Oh, yeah, this is far from over, I assure you. Good grief. That was an assault and a half. But as the action rolls on here, coming up next, we saw the Women's North American Championship contended for. We will now see the men as Myles Borne defends the gold against former, outfitting, faction running mate Tayvion Heights. NXT North American Championship match. Up next, the Great American Bash will go backstage to a defeated Tatum Paxley, unfortunately. See what you got to say here. Said the first time she won that, did something for herself. And she's right, honestly. It was for her and the entire universe. Now she feels empty and sad. Now she feels scared.
Uh-oh, here comes Kalani.
Can't she just stick her own freaking nose out of everyone else's business already?
I can't believe she's still down here, if we're being honest. She should be up on the main roster with Carmelo. Can you just imagine if they pulled the trigger and put them together, what a power couple they could be?
If only they were smart enough to do that. Yeah, Kalani mocking Tatum right now, which is not a wise idea.
Ooh.
Oh! Oh, crap! Again, why would you try and literally mock Tatum Paxley in a moment of weakness? Have you not learned anything about this woman, Kalani? I thought you were smarter than that. Well, clearly, emotions running high here at a boiling point. And now as Klein Jordan feels like she is the victim in her own right, considering she's not challenging for the NXT Women's Championship. Wham, you tapped out. But you talked about before, JJ, how heated, how stacked this women's division is, and everybody wants a chance and opportunities that they feel they're entitled to. Some more entitled than others, in their own opinion. Well, as we get ready for our semi-main event, let's go down to Mike Rome for their inductions here. Time for the men's NXT's North American Championship. Wow, they didn't even give the entrances. And Tayvion Heights, of course, he's had his fair share of fallout this year, pursuing Tony D for the NXT Championship. Now finds himself challenging Myles Borne for the NXT North American Championship. And, of course, it's not the first time we've seen Tayvion Heights challenge for this title, JJ, as he was trying to confront Ethan Page in the early stint of his starting run and failed.
Former teammates in the NQCC.
Yeah. And, of course, both men excommunicated themselves from that group after winning over Charlie Dempsey. Again, folks, this is for the NXT North American Championship, following the legacy set by the likes of Adam Cole, Keith Lee, Johnny Gargano. Bell reigns are underway. All Eagle, Ethan Page, Trick Williams, and a plethora of others across NXT history. And, of course, Myles Borne, he said he figured out what he needed to do after Ethan Page kind of encouraged him to figure out what you need to do with your character. And Myles Borne was Ethan Page's undoing, as the face of Canada no longer held the North American title. And, of course, Myles Borne, might I add, he's also has more pinfall wins over Tayvion Heights. So how does that play in the challenger's head, JJ?
I mean, you got to figure if your adversary owns you in the ring and owns you in victories, on the one hand, it messes with you because it's like, what do I got to do to beat this guy? None of my best, nothing I've ever tried has worked. But on the other side of the coin, you get to the mentality of, well, today's going to be my lucky day. I can't go without getting at least one victory. So today's going to be that day.
And, of course, Myles Borne has been endorsed to be called the future by the likes of even the Viper, Randy Orton, and this will actually mark his 5th defense of the NXT North American Championship, outlasting Johnny Gargano, Ethan Page, Dion Lennox, and much to what we saw earlier, Double S. And again, still to come tonight, our main event as Kendal Gray challenges once again for the NXT Women's Championship, one-on-one this time against Walter's Mamacita, Lola Vice. And that will be following this match. It's interesting right now. We're just seeing more of an amateur wrestling background exchange here right now. Both these men, Kana will tie up here, just trying to grip one another as the referee causes the break. It goes back to that staple you talked about before, that the, of course, No Quarter Catch crew. This was a nice jackknife takeover. And Myles Borne able to bridge up, looking to hook up Tayvion Heights. Tayvion Heights, of course, former Olympian. And Myles Borne right now with the backslide.
Rolls through.
Again, though, still maintain wrist control. Irish whip as Tayvion prevents collision turnbuckles. Oh, gosh.
How much of that was a roll through and how much of that was just Tayvion's weight being able to shift?
Yeah, I'm about to say, there definitely is a weight differential here, to your point. But take a look at the replay here. I'm not sure that inadvertently was what both men were figured about doing in that moment. Nice drop kick, though, since Tayvion Heights up and nowhere to the floor. Heights all the way to the outside. Myles Borne still staying hot on the challenger. Myles Borne, by the way, folks, only 4 years involved in this game. Of course, literally disciplined out of the WWE ecosystem only, as these two are locking horns here tonight at the Great American Bash. Fireworks ablaze for the NXT North American Championship. And Tayvion Heights back inside the ring, and Myles Borne looking to follow through. You see the way Tayvion Heights will grab his midsection. Oh, I have been playing possum there, just catching Myles with a big right hand. And again, Tayvion Heights, much like Myles Borne, was for a long time looking for his first. So look at the replay here. Myles Borne, great innovative offense out of the corner, but a messy land the outside, which has brought us, of course, to where we're at right now with Tayvion Heights in control. Stun gun to Myles Borne across the top rope. Tayvion on the move. Takes him down with a lariat. Runs right through him. Now the cover. Will he win the North American Championship? Gets a 2 count. It's been a nice mutual fight, though, nonetheless. And again, to your point, I think it goes back to that respect as stablemates, JJ.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, both these guys want to win. Both these guys have the competitive spirit. Tayvion wants to achieve what he hasn't been able to yet.
Oh!
They're both brothers in arms from their time in the NQCC. So neither man is going to cheat to win. Neither man is going to take the cheap way. Both men are going to try to earn their medal and their merit, as Tayvion gets a near 2 after that gut wrench slam there.
Beautiful gut wrench suplex release. And again, still maintaining full body control. Now mounting the champion almost with a proverbial crossface, not an accolade here, with the fist literally locked underneath the jawline here, S-grip underneath the head and neck. And you see the discoloration right now on Myles Borne's head. Tayvion Heights, by the way, has also only been involved here. Goes back to that familiarity in their history and their journey. Only here in WWE, a nil athlete. And now just driving his elbows into the chest of Myles Borne, trying to wear down the champion here. Rapid fire elbow strikes here. Hammering anvil elbows. Shades American Dragon Bryan Danielson. Myles Borne, by the way, is the 27th NXT North American champion in NXT history. And once again, Myles Borne trying to fight back through this. He's fought for adversity his entire time here in WWE, with the fact that he also is literally deaf, folks. Underneath the leg and hooked him up. Beautiful power slam cover, hook at the far leg, and captured for a 2 count. And Tayvion Heights right now starting to feel like he's in control, but again, that frustration, though, that in fact he hasn't put Myles Borne away yet, has to be starting to boil. And again, look at this. Head and leg captured, suplex takeover, hard landing for Myles Borne. Captured the far leg and still maintains hold of the cover and full body control.
Well, let's not forget, Tayvion Heights has something that Myles Borne doesn't have. And that's the fact that he went on excursion to Japan last year. So he's been trained a little bit in that style as well.
Yeah, King's Road style, to your point, of course, led by the wrestling genius himself, the now retired Keiji Muto. As to your point, they were involved in the N1 victory in the arc, Pro Wrestling Noah. Hammerlock into the shoulder blade, into the turnbuckles, and once again bringing the arm, taking him down by the arm right now, possibly looking for the submission, maybe a Fujiwara arm bar, if he could hyperextend it. And again, Myles Borne, though, smart move, keeping his body not pressed on the mat, on his side right now, alleviating some of the pressure and trying to find leverage, trying to roll through. And again, you see the way that a lot has been taken out of Myles Borne here. You can see the way they slowly able to get back up to his feet. And of course, Tayvion Heights, the tail of the tape here, obviously the stronger of these two men for the power game. Nice suplex takeover into the bridge cover. Tried to pull the Northern Lights, unable to stick it. Oh. And Tayvion Heights right now, they take a shot immediately with the fact that he just recently earned this #1 contenders chance after beating Jackson Drake of the Vanity Project. Up in the fireman's carry again, and Myles Borne hoisted up and over and looked like he was trying to stop his landing, grabbing the top rope and still falls to the 8th floor. And again, I don't think Myles Borne could have held on to that rope the way he wanted to with all the damage done to that arm. So clearly, Tayvion Heights' work is showing progress here. Now bringing back the champion inside the ring, immediately going for the cover and gets a 2 count. And Myles Borne right now is in a very, very vulnerable state. But again, we already talked about your point, JJ, the unbreakable resolve of Myles Borne that has garnered him this favoritism with the NXT universe, including the endorsements of the ruler Obafemi, which, ironically enough, he's challenged before for the NXT Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Irish whip, Velvet Heights, I'd able to step, and right now, rolls through again, maybe looking for Chaos Fury, hoisting up Myles Borne this time, and bat drop suplex. And cover, executed perfectly, gets a 2 count here. It's been nothing but a freaking clinic right now by Tayvion Heights more than anything in this match.
No, 100%. I mean, Tayvion's showing that he is worthy of taking the step to that next level. He just hasn't had the opportunity as of yet.
And again, opportunities like this come so rarely as Tayvion Heights looks to seize the NXT American Championship. Drop kick takes Tayvion Heights down as Tayvion Heights right now might be in the proverbial back seat. And Myles Borne looking to regroup. Reverse DDT taken down. Here's the cover. Hook on the far leg. Attack gets a 2 count. Woof. That bounce back, comeback ability that Myles Borne has shown us here since his stint in NXT. Up and over the floor goes Tayvion Heights. And again, Tayvion Heights made one mistake, and Myles Borne has been able to capitalize. And right now, belly throw on the floor out of nowhere. We haven't heard that before.
And Tayvion rocking the orange and black shades of Taz with that suplex.
The referee starting his 10 count, though. Of course, Taz joins his hands via pinfall or submission inside the ring. Count up to 5 right now. That count does not play in favor of either of these men here right now. And Tayvion Heights bringing Myles Borne into the ring. Sense of urgency. Cover over the far leg. Side press. And a 2 count. And again, JJ, I get it. Count out doesn't affect the champion. But there is
I was going to say I'm a
pride.
pushback there because it would benefit the champion. So,
But you know there's a pride with the champion, especially considering he's
Agreed.
facing electric chair drop by Tayvion Heights. He
No, I
doesn't
agree
want to
with you
leave
there.
a count out.
I agree with you there, but you can't say that wouldn't benefit anybody because it would definitely benefit the champion.
Big splash, messy landing, covered by Tayvion Heights on the far leg for a 2 count. I think he caught more of his knees versus his torso, which meant the impact was softened. And I just feel like that Myles Borne, he would be like one of the men that just would not take a count out under any circumstance. German suplex, especially against somebody that was a brother to him as he found his way here. Drop kick sidestep by Tayvion Heights, and now Myles Borne again going back to work. Up in the fireman's carry with the champion, and oh, wow! Borne again, cover territory, gets it! Unbelievable. Out of nowhere, again, Borne again leads to Myles Borne holding on to the NXT North American Championship. Wow. A good match, though, I will say. Again, commendable effort by both men. As, of course, folks, we now prepare for our main event. Before we continue, again, I'd like to say happy 4th of July to all of you. Happy 250th birthday to America. And thank you all for tuning in. Please subscribe, comment, tell friends. It's been a heated night. And, of course, things are going to heat up with NXT Heat Wave come Sunday, August 30th. Speaking of things that are coming ahead, we're going to take a short break before our main event and show you what's next at the Simply Reliable Studios with our watch-along trailer.
And now for a taste of things to come.
And as always, here at the Simple Reliable Studios, that trailer doesn't truly show you what we are about here, my fellow American professional wrestling fans who truly encompass, embrace, celebrate, engage, pontificate, analyze, criticize, and react to all the wrestling. And welcome back here to the Simple Reliable Studios in this special 4th of July coverage of the Great American Bash. Again, I am the Kendal Foster with the Renegade of Wrestling J.J. Williams, and shout out to Mr. Reliable Walter Cruz, and shout out to all of you that have been tuning in for our coverage tonight of this one-of-a-kind, fun, annual national delight as we get ready for our main event where the women take center stage as only NXT can bring, as Lola Vice will defend the gold against Kendal Gray for the NXT Women's Championship. JJ, it's one of those things where you don't know necessarily who in this business is like your Robin to your Batman, or maybe even your proverbial Joker to your Batman, your Superman to your Batman, your peanut butter to your jelly, your day versus night, your salt versus pepper. When the two just work so well together. We have two crossover athletes contending for the NXT Women's Championship. One came from MMA and transcended to the world of wrestling, much like Shayna Baszler. One came from an all-amateur wrestling background and now finds himself becoming the superstar of the future. What Kendal Gray and Lola Vice have evolved as in NXT and have been able to create absolute magic and synergy with each other, more than most women I've seen lately in the WWE in general, is something one of a kind and special. But I really think right now, with John Cena calling Kendal Gray the future, if you do not pull the trigger and go full throttle with Kendal, what is the future but more of the same like Groundhog Day? It has to be her night, wouldn't you think?
Oh, 100%. And especially with it being a show like the Great American Bash, like it almost seems poetic for an American Olympic style amateur athlete a la Kurt Angle to ascend to the heights of her show, NXT, at the Great American Bash. Like, it just seems too Disney-esque, you know, like it's too good to be true. It's too perfect. And you mentioned the chemistry, Jesus Christ.
Good grief.
Hank through the table there.
All right.
You talk about the chemistry that they have together, you know, and maybe this is a bold comparison, sir, because this is a comparison that goes to not my NXT,
damn it,
but your NXT.
Damn it.
Dare I say they are this generation Sasha and Bailey.
I definitely wouldn't argue with you there. Valerie Laredo, of course, for those that don't know, is a former MMA fighter that won most of her matches via knockout and, of course, remains undefeated in the underground. Coming to us, of course, from Brazil, of course, Walter's Mamacita has had multiple opportunities for the NXT Women's Championship, but said buenos noches to Jessie Jane with that spinning back fist, removing the fatal influence of NXT and finally seizing the NXT Women's Championship at Stand and Deliver. Kendal Gray not involved in the decision. Prior to that, though, Kendal Gray and Lola Vice had an incredible one-on-one number one contendership encounter, but it led to a double pinfall. We have yet to see who is the better of the two. And Kendal Gray, who was, of course, previous Evolve Women's Champion, of course, came up to us through NXT's Iron Survivor Challenge, christened by John Cena as the future, winning with Shades of Grey and pursuing Jessie Jane for her first opportunity at the NXT Women's Championship. Kendal Gray might as well be this generation's Kurt Angle and Chad Gable's fusion together if there was ever to be a woman with the graphs as an all-round collegiate athlete who used to wrestle with the men and was practically undefeated for the duration of her career. In fact, Kendal Gray is a 10-time high school All-American Fargo runner-up and a former 2018 cadet world team runner-up, and she placed third at the 2018 Literal Surround Cup in Japan. She has had so many incredible accolades in her young wrestling career, but there's no bigger accomplishment for Kendal Gray to literally christen a new generation of NXT than becoming the NXT Women's Champion, in my opinion. She's had her eyes set on this title since Lola Vice, particularly has seasoned. And Lola's been waiting for the chance to finally face Kendal Gray one-on-one to prove who the better is.
And let's not forget, she's a former WWE Evolve Women's Champion, the second in its history. 150-day run as champion, you know, This woman knows the pressures of being a champion. She knows the pressures of being the brand champion. And she's just got all the talents, all the gifts. I'm almost glad. Oh, he did just come back. I was going to say, I'm almost glad Walter isn't here because it's going to be tough for my man here. I know he's loyal and true to his mamacita, but he's not a Kendal Gray hater. Walter, where do you stand on this main event?
Like you said, I'm not a hater, and she's a great female. A lot of people compare her to the female version of Kurt Angle, and I can see it. And her rise,
oh boy,
it was so quick. Like once she won the holy shit, what's that match called?
Iron Survivor Challenge.
Iron Survivor, yeah. Once she won that, I already knew she was going to be a big deal. The fact that they let somebody who wasn't even technically part of NXT at that time, she was still in Evolve when she won that. The fact that they gave that to her lets me know they see big things in her.
And again,
so,
for
yeah,
those
I'm
that
not a
don't
hater
know,
at all.
For those that don't know, Kendal Gray vacated the Evolve Championship because she was called up to NXT shortly after that match after winning in a buzzer beater with the Shades of Gray out of the corner. As, of course, Wendy Chu ascended to become the Evolve Women's Champion, now held, of course, by Nikita Knight. As, of course, we look back on the events that transpired earlier here. Tony D'Angelo was able to put down Naruku as Evil did not prevail. When Sinclair was able to beat the time and beat the clock and force Arianna Grace to tap out of the Wren lock. Shiloh Hill proving his Mr. NXT, beating Tristan Angels. And Myles Borne was able to hold on to the NXT North American title against Tatum Heights, as Dion Lennox may have lost to Double S, but made sure to leave him in the dark thanks to Dark State's assault post-match tonight. And it all comes down to this in the Great American Bash for our 250th Birthday of America and the up-team time for NXT's GAB presentation. It is now time for our main event for the NXT Women's Championship. Mike Rome, take it away.
And shout out to the 170 plus of y'all here on our nation's birthday watching us watch this delayed presentation of NXT Great American Bash.
Kendal Gray, let's go to work. Your theme's still generic Def Rebel crap, but nonetheless, though, if there's a girl that feels like she's already ready for a workout, it's definitely this all-around collegiate athlete, modern-day incarnation of Kurt Angle, to your point, sporting the red, white, and blue, and there is her family at ringside, here to see their daughter in this championship opportunity. And, of course, Kendal Gray has earned each and everything that has been put in front of her in her young wrestling career, in her entire athletic career.
Don't forget, Lola had her father at one of her championship matches. She didn't come away with the win.
To your point, it was her first one-on-one against Jessie Jane in her home turf, and she lost. But Lola Vice finally made it to the summit. Lola Vice now, who finds herself in her third NXT Women's Championship match, only being part of NXT for 7 months, looks to make third time the charm.
That's crazy. How long was Kurt Angle on the roster before he won the title? I think it was less than a year.
Yeah, it was less than a year. He debuted at Survivor Series 99, and he won the title. That's September, I think. September, October. I want to say it was Unforgiven 2000.
So that's like 10, 11 months. So he did it in less than a year, too. And she's doing it. She got this opportunity in 7 months.
Meanwhile, Lola Vice, of course, disciplined out of mixed martial arts, of course, the daughter of a Taekwondo master, and is also a 5th-degree black belt in Taekwondo, was part of the U.S. Olympic team, born of Cuban descent in Miami, Florida, and is our current reigning and defending NXT Women's Champion after sending Jessie Jane down to the main roster, spinning back fist, knocking her out of NXT at Stand Deliver.
And Lola did a great job carrying the company and representing, going to AAA, doing double duty with the mixed tag titles.
Yep, shout out to Mr. Iguana.
Here we go, folks. This is our main event. Mike Rome, take it away with the introductions.
This is a big fight feel, man.
Definition big fight feel. Probably the biggest women's championship match in WWE for me this year, anyway, considering how much respect I have for both these incredible cross branded, disciplined athletes. Kendal Gray, again, folks, is 25 years of age and has only been wrestling, keyword, wrestling in the WWE ecosystem for 2 years, although she's been amateur wrestling for the better part of half her life. And Lola Vice, to your point, is also part of the AAA Mixed Tag Team Champions, current NXT Women's Champion, been involved in wrestling now for 3 years after getting a WWE Recruit contract from her background in Taekwondo and mixed martial arts at 27 years of age. And there you see the cornerstone of NXT, the NXT Women's Championship. Legacies that were defined by Charlotte Flair, of course, Bayley, Becky Lynch. I talk about other greats like Roxanne Perez, Michael Satomura. Bell Reigns were underway for this incredible match. And, of course, the longest reigning undefeated Asuka all had their hands on this town. And I will give credit's due with Jesse Jane.
I wonder what Lola's strategy is going to be because, yeah, she got the mixed martial arts, but are you going to take it to the ground and stuff with an amateur background wrestler? Like, she's going to go toe-to-toe with you on the ground. She's going to go toe-to-toe your stand-up, so it's a little hard.
Lola's best outlook is to try to stand with her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, unless Kendal gives up an opportunity, which I can't see an amateur wrestler doing, then don't try to do any groundwork. You got to try to stand and strike.
Nice
takedown. At the end of the day, Lola's a striker through her MMA background. Stand and strike.
Hey, don't think I don't notice that she's shouting out the Yankees with that outfit for her boyfriend from New York.
And Lola Vice on the move, the sidestep. Kendal Gray was looking for the hip toss counter, take over. Now both these women, Jujikatami, trying to be applied here, cross armburger. Kendal Gray, though, able to escape, rolls over. Now trying to hook Lola Vice with the waist slap. Posse maybe looking for the German suplex.
Kendall's gonna try to out wrestle her. I can see all the waist locks in the ground now.
Well, again,
we're trying to do it.
Back elbow strike. We're talking about MMA versus amateur wrestling. That is the tail of the taper when it comes to Kendal Gray and Lola Vice's journey that got them into NXT. Kendal Gray able to escape himself from underneath. Now Kendal on the move, and Lola looking to follow through. Was looking to square up there. It looks like Kendal Gray. Man, take it down with a power slam.
You think about it. You think about it, it's called mixed martial arts. Wrestling is a part of that. I'm sure Lola trained for wrestling.
Well, I mean, again, the front face lock.
We were talking before you came back, Walter, about Lola and Kendal's chemistry, and I compared them to, and I even admitted it's a bold comparison, but Noah agreed. I want your take. I compared them to this generation's Bayley and Sasha Banks for NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Just with the way they crazy gel with each other. Their chemistry is virtually second to none.
Yeah. I mean, if they give them the right amount of matches and good, like, I know people are going to jump down my throat for saying it, but it's going to be Benoit Angle.
Oh, look at this, though. Again, though, was looking positive for a triangle, and again, able to escape. Now back to the waist slot. Lola Vice, by the way, folks, is the I'm already just so invested in this match. 26 NXT Women's Champion in NXT history. Of course, like I said, her champions include Io Shirai, Rhea Ripley, Shayna Baszler. Oh, man, kicked up immediately into that round kick. Caught Kendal, I think, on the jawline.
Yo, she kicked the shit out of her.
Well, again, the fastest kicks, the fastest fists. That's always been Lola Vice's MO. Now squared up against Kendal Gray in the turnbuckles. Kendal Gray trying to cover up and escape, though. And Kendal has to avoid that striking stance of Lola Vice. You're going to have any chance here in this match.
She went right into the boxing stance.
And again, not giving any room to brave sidestep. Now Kendal Gray squaring up against Lola Vice, teeing off against the midsection. We've almost seen basically these women take pages out of each other's playbooks, literally training and disciplining each other in a way each time they squared up. Sidestep. Oh, and again, Lola Vice just teeing off against Kendal Gray, capturing the right arm, spinning up the second. Arm drag takeover now, and the challenger needs to figure out how to stop Lola Vice's momentum here. Again, hip toss takeover by Lola Vice. And again, keeping Kendal Gray. Kendal Gray capturing Lola, though.
I feel like Lola was doing that to say I could wrestle too.
Mm-hmm.
Again, a lot here on the line for both of these women to truly prove, easy for me to say, who is the better. And I do think Lola Vice and Kendal Gray has always been a battle of one-upsmanship. The extra insurance now is the NXT Women's Championship. Let's go ahead and take down and 2 count. Trying to keep the shoulders down. Kendal Gray now finally has Lola Vice right where she wants her, down on the mat, trapped in the side headlock. Lola, though, trying to capture Kendal now and gets the better of this position. Kendal Gray able to roll through and escape, and immediately goes back to the grapple game, and again, side headlock applied. It's almost a fever pitch to see who makes a mistake first.
And the little things, you know, you got to give these girls credit for as young as they are into their professional wrestling careers.
Whoa.
You got to give credit to the little things. You know, Lola Vice slapping her thighs while she had that leg scissors around the head of Kendal Gray.
Yeah,
Those thick thighs, slapping them, you know, you get a little bit extra pressure coming down across the head.
Hey, Claudia, get the fuck out of here, you bitch. You're not needed here. When Sinclair getting this wretched witch out of the way and trying to ruin Instant Classic. Freaking victim my ass. Go to freaking adoption therapy. Oh, spinning kick by Lola Vice. Sorry, you were saying. I almost got pissed off there.
No, it's okay. It's okay. The only other point I was going to make is that then you also have the possibility of the equilibrium because of the vibrations in the ear ducts.
Yeah, exactly. And again, trying to disorientate both your opponent and their legs right there, trying to find some means of escape here, as both these women right now have been unable to hold each other down. Oh, Kendal dropped face first. I was looking for something big out of the corner.
To take that seat at Senton.
Round kick. Well, you stop that. Spinning kick now by Lola Vice, teeing up against Kendal Gray here.
Gotta let him get one with his mamacita.
Of course. I knew that he was going to come into it. Oh, no.
I'm surprised he didn't save it for here, though, with the hip attack.
Yeah, I think Lola Vice is looking to square up Kendal Gray with some extra spice. Hip attack in the corner. And again, Lola on the move. Kendal needs to get out of there. Oh, a second time connects.
You know what's crazy? As much as I love Lola, I'm almost afraid for her to get called up. Because I feel like they're going to screw her up.
Drop suplex.
With the booking in the main roster, I'm afraid to see Lola on the main roster.
Well, wait a minute, the first time WWE fucked up somebody.
Like, look at Julia.
And right now, again, you see Kendal Gray might be looking to take us into the gray zone as the straps come down.
Uh-oh, Suplex City?
And now Kendal Gray might be looking to engage that suplex machine. To your point, now Kendal Gray seems to be on the move, regaining the momentum here, just throwing Lola Vice sideways, preferably.
Lola went from Vice City to freaking Suplex City.
Staying with weights like a change on Lola, but a suplex of her own. Maintaining waist control, but again,
switch.
Kendal Gray, German suplex takeover.
See, this reminds me of Benoit and Angle.
Both women right now are literally just trying to keep up with each other. I love this. Back elbow strike, swing and a miss. And Lola, though, big German suplex up and over goes Kendal Gray.
Say what you want about what I did personally, but every time he got in that ring with Angle, them shits were classics.
And
look, it's just a matter of separating the person from the performer. You cannot take away what Christopher Benoit did in the ring. What he did that weekend can never be forgiven for, but everything that he did in the ring leading up to that, you cannot second guess, you cannot take away.
And again, these two getting into a slapping fest right now. And again, this is their second ever singles match, I want to point out, folks, despite the fact they have shared a multitude of matches in some capacity. 14 of them total, by the way, in their young careers. 13 total, by the way, in their young careers. These two have shared a ring with one another in some capacity.
Huge super kick.
Catching Lola on the run, and now Kendal on the move up the second rope. Oh, and jumps off into a spinning solot. And that blind momentum just snuffed with one shot by Lola Vice. Picture perfect off the apron. Get with another seated senton. Well, Kendal though rolls through and hooks the ankle.
Yeah, but it's outside
this
the ring.
isn't gonna. Yeah, I was gonna say this does her no good because it's outside the ring. Referee with the 10 count.
Whoa.
The best case scenario is you weaken the ankle so that once you get her back in.
Now, Shades of Gray! Shades of Gray on the outside, to your point, though. She can't win the title out there, and that was right in front of Lola Vice's family.
Yeah, it's dead weight now, too, to try to throw back in the ring.
NXT Universe standing on their feet as the NXT Women's Championship hangs in the balance. Referees count up to 7. Kendal Gray knows she has to bring the champion back inside and does so to break the count. Now Kendal Gray might be one move away. Looking for the same way that Capital in NXT. Wait, caught the kick instead. Another ankle lock applied. Center of the ring this time.
Center. That was dangerously close to the stairs when she did that too, by the way.
Well,
right above the Slim Jim logo.
Will Lola Vice tap out? Will she roll through? Will she force the break? Will she capitulate? Will we see a new NXT Women's Champion? And Lola rolls through now and hooks the ankle of Kendal and brings her back to center.
Well, you know she's won by submissions before.
Snapper
Yes.
cat.
And on the roll right now, sitting down, looking for the victory roll counter. Meanwhile, Ginger Katame, Clive, cross-arm breaker into progress here. Lola Vice still able to lock the wrist, lock the grip, prevent the hyperextension. Now trying to roll for again, readjustment, and just mounting and teeing off against Kendal here, looking for the cross-arm breaker. Now Kendal looking to lock up here. Each time one of these two goes for a move, the other one answers in kind with the same move attempt. Now allowing Lola to advance. Now the Kendal advance. Shoulders down. Finally forces a break.
It's a case of anything you can do, I can do better.
Oh! Renegade choke applied. And she's got the body grapevine. Trying to see right now if that form is underneath Kendall's jawline. Kendall able to roll through. Shoulders down. And now Kendal on Lola Vites here with her own Renegade choke. This is incredible. And they're expecting it be from both these two amazing athletes here. This is professional wrestling, damn it. And for once, for WWE, I can say that. Oh, stun gun across the top rope. And finally, both these women creating separation with each other. And Lola Vice just looking to regroup. Now falls in. Kendal gets the knee up, though. Now Kendal up to the second. Springing up the top rope. Moonsault crashed and burned. Oh, that spinning kick might be it. Is it Buenos? No chance. No kick at 2.5. That's close. Lola Vice can retain the title. Now looking for the front face guillotine. And immediately to your point, Walter, Lola Vice staying on the attack, trying to wait out, get away. This is the exact same spot they were in, by the way, in the Madison Square Garden Theater when we got that double tap out spot. Normalized suplex takeover. Again, that was the same spot, though. Now into the triangle, though. Lola Vice still
she
maintaining
doesn't have
hold.
that triangle in the right way. She needs to bend the other leg more.
But she still has her head cinched in deep, though, Walter, and applying pressure. Kendal Gray, the reversal. Shoulders down. 2 count again. The sidestep. Oh, spinning back. Oh, Kendal has to swap around.
Both women down. Both women covered.
Oh, my God. Almost had double fall there.
Dude, she did a variation of her spinning back face, but hit the elbow.
Holy hell in heaven. And both these women absolutely spent with the arm draped over each other, both with the kick out as we continue here at this main event.
Match of the night, they ain't even over.
And Kendal Gray and Lola Vice once again teeing off, testing their mental with these elbows here. Something's got to give in this fire shot exchange. High kick blocked off. Kendal Gray, furious offense, spinning solo creates distance. Once again, spinning high kick. Again, with for the spinning back fist. With for the spinning elbow. Spinning back fist now again. Out of the corner off the second. Oh, shades of Gray! Cover! 2! Kendal wins!
Wow. She got it out of nowhere.
Kendal Gray is the face of NXT and the new NXT Women's Champion. Welcome to the Gray Zone.
If you ever brought back like that Lions Den match, no ropes MMA match, these two would fit it perfect.
A fever pitch of a mistake and a moment found led to Kendal Gray out of nowhere seizing the title with shades of gray in an absolute classic. Take a look again. That spinning back fist, rebound Kendal off the ropes into a spinning back elbow, and both women with the arm draped over each other nearly got a double pinfall there that would have had Lola retain. That spinning high kick that Kendal was able to dunk underneath, spinning back elbow ducked underneath, spinning back fist underneath, out of the corner off the second row, an immediate short-range impact, shades of gray, and Kendal Gray wins gold.
And there's Wren.
And Wren Sinclair, who let that bitch Kalani Jordan out of here to not ruin this. Wren Sinclair and Kendal Gray rule the NXT Women's Division. You can see the mutual respect of Lola Vice's face. She knows that Kendal Gray earned it.
I was going to say, it don't even look like she's mad.
No,
how can you be mad after that? That is the definition of earning something in this business. Nothing was given. Everything was brought. And at the end of the day, Kendal Gray wins her first NXT Women's Championship in only 7 months of her NXT career.
That's crazy. You know what? Lola's undefeated in underground matches, right? That's probably what the rematch is gonna be. And Kendal goes over, and then Lola disappears to the main roster, much to my chagrin.
You very well might be right, but for the land of the free and the home of the brave, your NXT Women's Division now is ran through Kendal Gray. As the Great American Bash comes to a conclusion and comes to a diffuse, we thank all of you for tuning in. Stay tuned for further watch-along coverages here for GCW and so much more this week, including shenanigans. But until the next time we see your screen, whether on the X or on YouTube, for Walter, for JJ, I'm the Seminole Foster saying happy birthday, America, and thank you to all of you. Till next time, make a positive impact in life. Have a good night. This has been NXT's Great American Bash. Kendal Gray, Lola Vice. That's professional wrestling. Damn it. Cut the fucking feed.
See you guys in about an hour.